Welcome back to Gainesville Game Day, everybody. The Gators will be without the services of LaTroy Pittman, Marcus May, and Alex McAllister today, but by all accounts, the Gators should still be fine and have their services back the following week. But let's focus on Pittman and, more importantly, the receiver spot. We all know DeMarcus Robinson, the clear number one. Ahmad Fullwood will be starting opposite of him today. Pat, how big of an opportunity is this for Fullwood?
Well, you know, he's been given a lot of opportunities, and we were stunned at the Birmingham Bowl when he took that hitch pass and went 85 yards. We didn't know he could run that fast.
Didn't think he had the wheels.
But when you've talked to McElwain this fall, it's always been he's not quite there. He's shown glimpses. He's got to get consistent, and they've got to have a second wide receiver. I think it'll be more Brandon Powell than anybody else, but it'd be great if Fullwood could step up, and then you got Jake McGee. Now all of a sudden you've got a decent receiving core, you know, and that's what they've got to have.
You got to open up some things certainly inside. That's what they're trying to get with Powell and McGee inside, but it'd be nice to get another receiver on the outside. But now it's time we hear from you in a new segment this year called Ask the Pros.
Ask the Pros, sponsored by Town Tire, hometown service you can trust.
My name's Chris Wendler. My question is, who would you start at quarterback for the Gators this year?
You know, Chris, there's two guys that come to mind, Tim Tebow, Danny Werfel. I don't think either one of those guys is walking through that door. I would start Will Grier because I just want to see what he can do, and I think that that's what they want to see. What can Will Grier do and when the bullets are flying?
It is Will Grier's job to lose, in my opinion. It has always been that way. Treon Harris provides a nice little compliment. I think McElwain's going to find a package or two to get Treon Harris involved, but this is Will Grier's job, and I would still expect, even though it's splitting reps, he's going to get the majority of the reps today.
Hi, I'm Dina, and I'm curious what you expect from Kelvin Taylor this season.
Hey Dina, Kelvin Taylor is very excited to start the new season and in this system that Jim McElwain has. He's obviously gunning for 1,000 yards. Can we say at the beginning of the season that he will hit that 1,000-yard mark? No, but expect him to have a big season for what that's worth.
Yeah, you know, Dina, the thing about Kelvin Taylor is he had a huge game against Georgia because they couldn't figure out one play. They kept running over and over. Other than that, he only had 387 yards, but he wasn't the feature back. So this is his chance to show as a feature back what exactly he can do if he gets the ball 20 times a game. We'll see. I think, like so many things with his team, there's a lot of unknowns. That's an unknown for me, too.
Hi, my name is Asaf. How would you think this year's defense compared to last year's defense?
Well, you know, this defense is going to be really good. One thing they don't have, though, is Dante Fowler Jr. I mean, that guy is irreplaceable as a defensive lineman. The things they were able to do with him. So that's the one thing I got to see. But secondary-wise, I think they're actually going to be better.
Yeah, the secondary, Vernon Hargreaves and all those guys. I think you've got probably about 5 or 6 guys that should be drafted within the first 4 rounds of the draft whenever they come out. Alex McAllister is the wild card for me, though. Can he replace what Dante did? Maybe not, but can he do some of the things? Let's hope so. That's where I'm thinking with the defense this year. Okay, Pat, now it's time for your Florida Keys.
The Florida Keys, sponsored by Sissets, a fun twist on home and patio.
Well, my number one key is the oldest adage in college football, which is to win the turnover battle. It was something that Will Muschamp stressed from the first day he walked in here. It didn't always work out for him. But you just can't give the other team opportunities. You can't give them short fields. And it'd be nice to get some short fields of your own to give your offense some easy touchdowns, Phil.
The Gators are already, clearly the more talented team in this game. You take away what New Mexico State wants to do is just going to make life even more difficult. Good point.
And I tell you, when you get takeaways and you get short fields and defensive touchdowns, add to your points per game total. The number 2 key for me is to control the lines of scrimmages. It's a line of scrimmage league, as we all know. This is not in the league, of course. Yeah. This is a team, if you can't control, even with this makeshift line, if you can't control this line of scrimmage, it could be a long season. So you'd like to see them control the line of scrimmage, especially on the offensive line against their defensive line.
It looks like New Mexico State might have a decent running back in their sophomore running back, but the Gators have always been able to slow down, lesser opponents' running backs. Let's hope that's the case again today.
And I think the number 3 thing for me is really to avoid the big play for their defense, or for their offense. They're obviously, Florida secondary is really good. But teams, when you see these massive upsets, it's usually started because all of a sudden there's a guy wide open and the stadium goes silent. How did he get open? There starts to be a mumbling and buzzing and what's going wrong here. So I think just avoid the big play.
Going back a season ago, the game against Missouri was still probably easily the better team in that game, but they got an opening kickoff return for a touchdown. Can't do that against New Mexico State. All right, so those were the Florida Keys. We've got so much more on Gainesville Game Day coming up, including some picks. You won't want to miss it. More Gainesville Game Day after this.